our time, you feel me?
The 9-5 LA Rams head north this week for a huge NFC West showdown with the Seattle Seahawks, whose defense stepped up last week to lead the way to victory.
Haskins under pressure, down he goes.
With the team driving for a potential game-winning score, Seattle came up with back-to-back sacks that pushed Washington out of striking distance.
Haskins taken down again.
Seattle's pass rush has been on fire the second half of the year. 2+ sacks in 8 straight games, 3 or more in 7 of those 8, all of which puts them in the top 10 now in QB takedowns.
Haskins, hit, ball comes loose.
This week they'll be going after Jared Goff for the second time this season, and he just got dragged down 3 times by the Jets.
Pressure comes in, Quinn Williams, his 7th sack of the year.
And the first time these two faced off, Seattle sacked Goff 3 times as well.
And there's Adams.
However, Goff was able to throw for over 300 yards in that game. No TDs, but no picks either, the Rams taking that first contest by a touchdown.
And now here is Reynolds again.
And it was actually LA's pass rush that had an even bigger impact than Seattle's in that game, as they were able to sack Russell Wilson 6 times.
On first 10, and no cooking here.
The Rams pass rush picked up 2 more sacks last week too, and they now sit in second overall when it comes to getting home against QBs.
Darnold in trouble, and Darnold is going to be sacked.
Wilson is one of the most sacked QBs in the league too. However, he just got through his second game in a row without taking one.
Fires to the end zone, touchdown.
Oddly, that did not translate to big numbers for Wilson against one of the tougher pass defenses in the league. Wilson threw for a season-low 121 yards. His yards per attempt was under 5, his rating under 75.
Says deflected by Sweat, and then picked off.
He didn't fare well against the Rams either, who also sport one of the best passing defenses in football. They held him to a season-low passer rating while picking him off twice, so Wilson does not seem to care too much for elite secondaries.
Wilson throws, and the pass is picked.
LA was not quite as dominant against Sam Darnold, though. He didn't light them up by any stretch, but they weren't able to pick him off, and he put up a rating close to 100 on him.
Darnold gets it out quickly. There's Johnson again. That's a touchdown.
That shocking loss to the Jets was just as much the fault of their offense, though, if not more.
Going on the right.
Jared Goff threw a pick and only managed 209 yards on just 6.1 yards per attempt against one of the weakest pass defenses in football.
I'm sorry, what do you want me to do? I just got blown up.
And it was specifically 3rd down that did the Rams in, as they only converted 2 of 11 chances.
And it just sucks some of the oxygen out of that pocket.
Seattle's pass D hasn't been a strength overall this year, but they have been playing better lately, feeding off that pass rush to some degree. They picked off Haskins twice, held him to just 5.4 yards per attempt and a rating under 75.
Fires downfield, and it is picked off.
So what about each team's run game? Seattle was back in form against Washington, over 180 yards on a fat 7 yards per carry.
Longest run of the season by a Seahawk.
The Rams were also effective when they ran it, 6 yards per carry, though they only kept it on the ground 19 times. Both teams are plenty adept at stopping rushing attacks, though. Seattle holding teams to 3.9 a carry, 3rd fewest rush yards per game allowed.
Balled up.
LA ranking 1 spot ahead of them in rush yards per game allowed, and also holding ball carriers to under 4 a run.
And split Andrews here. Like, you got no chance.
Seattle has the 1-game advantage in the standings. The Rams, though, would own the tiebreaker for the division with a win. So in a weird way, their loss to New York didn't change much. This was going to be the game for the NFC West crown either which way. Tell us who you have winning it. Put your predictions in the comments section. You've heard it before. Hours go, blah, 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 blah.
To the backfield, they can pick up a first down inside the 3-yard line. Wilson fires to the end zone, touchdown. Jacob Hollister.